our guest.
Okay, funny story. There's
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
more about that in a moment. Instead, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our show, which is a complete waste of 1 hour. Your next hour will be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions that they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. Our goal is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that may seem. So, listeners, now that you know why you're here, I'm Keith, and across from me is my co-host, Victor. Victor, why are you here this week?
Well, I come here to meet new and interesting people and learn about stuff. Keith, where's our new and interesting people?
Yeah, so there's a funny story about that. We have been on podcasting now for about 6 months.
Yeah, we started in December 2016?
No, January 2007. We actually just after New Year's on the 2nd.
Right.
Yep, and we have almost 3,000 downloads. Things are really going well.
Where is everybody?
It's but for the first time ever, we have no guest. Nobody wants to be on our show. Everybody hates us. They'd all rather be dead, I think, is best I can tell.
One is the loneliest number that
So,
you'll ever do.
We've got nothing for you. I don't know. It's you know what? It's just going to be you and me this week.
I'll do it!
We'll do it. We'll figure it out and we'll get through it, Victor.
I'll be your guest!
Well, who are we going to interview? Should I just
I'm right here!
Will you shut up? We're trying to do an interview with each other.
We're trying to decide on what we're going to do here. You're not helping.
I'll be the guest, though!
Oh,
But
my
you
God.
you're loud and obnoxious and you just yell.
I wouldn't if you gave me a microphone!
No, you cannot have a microphone. We've gone on this before. Do
You're
not
holy
do not
shit.
go near the guest microphone. Stop it.
we took you out of this world once,
Sit
Adam.
back down in your chair and do
What
you're
are you
big-
doing?
Hey guys, what's up?
What the hell was that?
You're not yelling.
So I just said, hey, what's up? Thanks for having me on the show.
Why aren't you being loud and obnoxious and yelling?
Well, because now I have a microphone. I keep telling you to give me one.
He sounds reasonable.
I didn't even
I don't
know
like it. I don't like it.
I didn't know there was a side. You sound genteel. I
think he's Jewish.
Hello, Adam.
Jewish, Gentile? I don't know.
It's nice to be on this side.
Welcome to the show. So, Adam, why are you here this week?
Well, because I am sad to announce that, except for perhaps in post, this is my last show with y'all.
What the fuck?
What do you mean?
Got new job.
Where are you now going to be working that's more important than this show?
What could possibly pay you more than another wasted hour?
Yes.
Well, pretty much anything would pay me more than another wasted hour.
That is true.
But
That's
no,
fair.
I got a job at the Peabody Conservatory, and that means I have to move up north.
Yeah.
So
Wouldn't it be down north? I hear Baltimore is close to sea level.
It's near armpit level.
That smells about the same.
it's about the same amount of attractiveness. So.
We'll fix the smell in post.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pull back the curtain a little this week. We found out that our dearly beloved engineer Adam, who is an actual human being and not just a screaming box of lungs,
He's got a body attached to those lungs.
We've had a lot of people. In fact, one of our super fans told us that you are their favorite character in the entire show.
Wasn't I also the first
bullshit.
one to get shout outs online or
I
something?
think so, yeah. So as people may or may not know, Adam is an actual real person. Engineer Adam, a character of that person. And he not only comes onto the show and yells things from time to time, but actually is the grease that makes this entire show run. Everything you hear and the reason that it actually sounds good and doesn't sound like we are just in a basement studio making a terrible podcast.
Now it just sounds like you're in a basement studio making a really terrible podcast that sounds great.
Right, exactly. That is all because of Engineer Adam. So the good news is that engineer Adam will still be behind the scenes helping make the show sound fantastic. But for all of you that have fallen in love with the random, horrifying things that he yells in the studio, we won't be hearing that for a while. It sounds like you'll be up at Peabody's doing live sound. Is that right?
Yes, I'm doing a production AV assistant. So for all the live concerts and recitals and that sort of stuff that they do up there, I'll be helping out with that.
Well, congratulations. They've gotten a hell of an engineer.
Thank you.
So, officially thank you for all that you have done in terms of not only the engineering, but the hilarity that you brought into the studio. We'll try to make up for that as best we can.
Oh my God, you can cite us as references. Yes. Oh, wait, you already got the job. Shit.
So when we
Never
found
mind.
out,
Well, the next time I get approached by two ignorant, uninformed people,
Ill-advised,
ill-advised people
self-deprecating morons.
Yeah.
looking to start a podcast, I can point them to you two to just let them know how much of an asset I will be to their team.
Yes, absolutely. So
No, we can't let you fall into enemy hands, dude. We'd have to kill you again. You would have to die again.
So when we found that out, we wanted to clear our schedule and make sure we had an entire hour that we could waste with you before you took off. So this is our farewell to Engineer Adam podcast or episode. You'll probably still be hearing all his ridiculousness in post, though, I assume.
You'll still be hearing from me there, I'm sure.
I'm wondering how many people right now are going, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, number one super fan. Sorry.
Yes. Elena's going to be like, no.
We'll just put you in a box and ship you straight to her.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
All right. So is any other reason you're here, Victor?
No, I'm fine. It's
Okay. You're going to be all right?
Uh-huh.
You're just going to cuddle with that vodka?
I'm gonna step out real quick.
So I wanted to go into something that I noticed this week. Last 2 weeks ago, we talked about an iceberg. Last week, we talked about the Republicans hitting the iceberg. This week, the Republicans voted to continue talking about health care. That is as good as they've gotten.
Wait, you need to vote to talk about something?
They basically voted to not talk about it.
Did we take a vote to talk on this podcast?
No, we should. We should all
in
in
favor?
favor.
Aye.
I abstain.
The ayes have it. Okay. Good. We got that covered. We're legal now.
So all the Democrats voted nah and on the measure, and most of the Republicans voted yay. Most notably was Senator John McCain, who was actually just diagnosed with brain cancer, but was still able to make it to the Senate floor to cast
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
One of the Republicans was diagnosed with brain cancer,
Yeah.
and they're voting about health care.
Yeah. So he
I'm
was
sorry. I find that funny and ironic, as cruel as that might sound.
Yeah, he was just diagnosed with brain cancer, but was still able to make it to the Senate floor to cast his vote for hopscotch. That's what I assume. What are we talking about? I don't.
Is he going to vote for or against it? Because if he's going to vote against it, they're just going to wait for him to need like chemo and not be able to show up.
He probably doesn't know.
He probably hasn't decided.
Although, in all seriousness, I was really sad to hear about John McCain. I tend to be pretty independent with all of my thoughts, and in a lot of ways, he was a very and is a very stand-up politician in an era where there aren't a lot of those.
Yes, that is true.
I don't always agree with him, but I can always count on him to stand up for what he believes in and be pretty consistent and about the things that he does believe in, and that doesn't always happen. So sad to hear that news. I wish him and his family the best. And moving on. So are you excited, Adam, that this is the first time you'll actually be participating in your own episode of the Weather Report and This Week in
You're
History?
going to get
and
so many
everything?
Facebook notifications.
Yeah.
I am super excited.
You sound it.
The thing is, when I'm behind the microphone, all that it just kind of goes away.
Take his microphone away.
Squeak.
Wait.
Give it back. Thank you.
All right. Well, with further ado,
With further ado, we shall move into the weather report.
Yeah,
Now,
the christening
we know
of the Weather Report by Adam.
Right. We know very much that you are aware of how this works, but for any listeners that may be tuning in for the first time, this is the weather report. Dun, dun, dun. While Keith quietly sobs in the background.
I just remembered that he made the stinger for us. That sound effect was made by Adam on this show.
It was so much better than all the stingers Victor made for that one episode.
That's
Yo,
not
those
even
are
a little
so
bit true.
bad.
That is why I'm not upset right now.
Oh, God.
Well, the weather report, we scoured the internet for amazing and ridiculous news articles,
Yes.
and some of them are quite stupid. Some of them are even more stupid. And Adam, our guest today, gets to decide whether or not they actually should have been news.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I am getting a little choked up over the stinger. Anyway, okay.
All right. I'll let you start. You get to have the honor on Adam Day.
On Adam Day. All right, Elizabeth, my dear friend. Plane passenger turns woman's blissful flight into the set of a nightmare.
Sounds familiar.
Yes, we've all gotten on a plane and both seats next to you are empty, right? The glorious feeling that is. Flight attendants, they go by and they notice you sprawled across 3 seats and they
Sure.
go, I don't even care if you have your seatbelt on. I understand. And they leave
Yeah.
you alone. This woman ended up with 2 empty seats next to her. And she happened to be seated in the aisle seat.
Oh.
So eventually she's planning to move over to the window, whatever. But as takeoff happens and,
Yeah.
you know, now you are free to move about the cabin,
As you do.
this foot starts to pass through the seat from behind. The passenger behind her has stuck his foot up onto the armrest.
Is that even
Nice.
possible?
Yeah, it is. It fits right through there.
Tiny feet.
They're pretty big and hairy. So she's like horrified, right? And then another foot under the other armrest. Person's just got both of his feet up. And she's like, What do I do? I don't even know what to say to this person right now. You're completely ruining my flight. I guess I'll just lean back in my chair and take a nap. And then one of the feet, the leftmost foot, opens the window. She can't sleep because it's bright sun shining on her.
It's like that. It's like Thing from the Addams Family.
Right, 2
Except a
feet.
foot.
2 feet with the biggest dick ever.
That is when you order like a super fruity tropical cocktail. Because it'll probably come with one of those little plastic swords holding your feet together.
There you go. Hyundai.
No wonder that guy had to put his feet up. But he needed to make room for his giant balls.
Because really, that guy's a huge dick.
He's just like, nobody will mind if I do this.
Well,
Everybody.
there's nobody sitting there. So.
Yeah. So, that is an inconvenient truth. That's for sure.
It is a horrendous voyage, but is it news?
Yes.
Adam?
I'm going to go with yes, because now I have something else to be afraid of when I go to take a flight. I
Just
already
when
don't
you
like
thought it was
flying.
safe to go back in the water.
I already don't like flying, but now,
It'll take your mind off of the turbulence. You'll be like, oh, we're bouncing around, but at least there aren't feet on me.
Oh, there you go. With the first bit of turbulence, you just grip on, like drive your fingernails and like, oh God! And then you just listen to him scream.
Thank God these handles are here.
Exactly.
That's what's a little warm.
If I'm going to be uncomfortable, I'm going to make you regret it.
This little piggy went to market.
Where'd that little piggy go? It's in my hand.
This little piggy came straight off.
That's what you get for opening
This
my
little piggy
window.
looks infected. You should have that looked at.
All right. This year, the Discovery Channel advertised the television event of a lifetime for the climax to this year's Shark Week. Michael Phelps was going to race a great white shark. What's most interesting about this, aside from the fact that the Discovery Channel tamed a great white enough for it to swim in a straight line for a predetermined distance, is that people actually thought that Michael Phelps was going to get in the water with a great white shark and swim.
Haven't they ever seen Deep Blue Sea?
No.
The average human swims 3 feet per second. The average shark swims like 40 feet per second at full speed.
So the special came on, and they found out that it was a CGI shark, and they took to Twitter to voice their disappointment, which meant I judged them. Because, really?
I
I
mean,
mean, this is also the same network that filmed a whole show about a guy who was going to get eaten by a snake, and for an hour episode was just him psyching himself up to then quit. And they're going to be upset about, and they're really going to be surprised, about
Yeah.
that? Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's like the whole movie, The Final Countdown.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Everything that happens in that movie, you're like, yes, they're going to change the past. This is amazing. They warped back through time into the present, and nothing like that movie could never have happened. Could have never happened, and nothing would have changed.
What I like is I love events like this and things that happen like this because it makes it really easy to determine who to unfriend on Facebook. I'm like, nope, no, not you. All right, let's move on. Quick spoiler alert. Although Phelps swam slower than the shark, he did win the running and biking portions of the Shark Week triathlon.
See what was that one? Jabberjaw. See Jabberjaw just on a unicycle next to him.
All right, so it seemed obvious to the rest of us. Adam, is it news?
It's a way to weed out the population, that's for sure.
I am going to have to go with no because again,
come
how
on!
are you surprised by this?
I'm surprised that they are surprised. That's the thing.
I'm not. Most people are scum.
They would swim faster than a shark. All right, fine, whatever.
All right, this next one. So we know about there are several weather dangers out there, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatnot, as well as the threat of like nuclear war. So going outside is pretty terrifying these days, especially when you find out about North Korea's latest weapon. This family in Florida is just sleeping away innocently. They let out the dogs late at night so that they don't, pee inside. It's like 4 a.m. and they hear this thunderous crash on their roof.
Santa?
I
No.
hope it was Santa.
Even better. 15 pounds of sausage landed on their roof.
It is Santa.
Under this crash.
I mean, as a fat Italian man, that does sound like a gift from Santa.
Yeah, that's Christmas all over again. Gee golly. They go outside in the morning and they they clean off some of it has fallen into the driveway. Like,
Yeah.
What the hell? 15 pounds of sausage is a lot of meat. They show a picture of it.
You know how many
and it's
stockings I could stuff with that?
But it's a fresh article. It just happened yesterday, I believe. And they have yet to figure out where it came from. So I'm thinking, yeah, North Korea's latest weapon.
No wonder their people are starving. They're launching 15 pounds of sausage into the air at a time.
Yeah.
How awesome is that cannon? It made it all the way to Florida.
Right. That is the greatest sausage trebuchet ever.
Right? It's what could it possibly be? Like
Interballistic
an
sausage.
angry, I don't know, is this some sort of weather phenomenon or all those sausage throwing contraptions that people have invented?
An
15
airplane?
pounds.
Is there a sausage airplane?
Could be a sausage airplane. One of the turbines fell off or something.
I can't even imagine.
Did it specify what kind of sausage?
It was not one type. The picture was of probably at least 5 variations of meat.
Even better.
Yeah. It's like a German feast.
I don't know if this is going to be news or not, but this is the greatest story ever.
What do you think, Adam? News or not news?
Delicious meats falling from the sky? Of course that's news.
All right, news. Absolutely news.
All
So
right.
I will now reveal the fact that they didn't eat any of it.
Oh.
No longer news.
Nope, you can't rescind your vote. It's too late. Ballot's in.
All right, I have 2 stories in one that I'd like to share real quickly with you. First, Snooty the manatee has passed away at the age...
Snooty the fat sea cow?
Yes, at 69, almost 70 years old. It was a year past the 69th birthday. Unfortunately, there was an accident. He passed away. He was actually the oldest living manatee on record in the world.
Wait, there was an accident?
Yeah,
So he didn't pass away. He was killed.
Well, there was a hatch that was left open. He got stuck and died. So
okay.
it was an accident.
It wasn't
very
like a
unfortunate.
boat.
No.
Took him out.
Anyone with a shitty filter in their fish tank knows exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Finding Nemo.
So, and it wouldn't have been a boat motor because he was actually with, I think it was the North Florida Museum. So he was actually in an aquarium. There were no boat motors.
Okay.
He was
Just need to specify. When I was little, I'd say it broke, but what I was really saying is I broke it.
right.
So
Exactly. So that's horrifying. So just, keep that in mind. It's very, very sad. Also, in related news, let's see, in Florida, they have a Confederate memorial statue that they have a petition to get rid of. You've heard this like around kind of the South.
Right.
There's a lot of push right now for heroes of kind of the Confederate War on the Confederate side to pull
Particularly
down
slave-owning heroes. right?
Yeah, to pull down those memorials in public spaces and not glorify that particular part of our history. So on change.org, there's a petition calling for that memorial statue to be removed. It is, I think they need to get 5,000 signatures, but they need at least another 100. It looks like. I don't. Anyhow, we can put the post up there if people would like to support that.
What are they going to replace it with? Oh my God.
Statue
Yes.
of Snooty the Manatee.
Yes!
Yeah, that's what the petition says.
Fat sea bovine.
It seemed like they weren't related, but that's why we had two news articles
That's
coming together into
amazing.
one.
This really shows the kind of world we live in right now.
Yes.
A lot of sensitive people, but at the same time, Snooty the manatee, man.
Yeah, so
I will never get to bootless
This
Snoot.
would never have happened outside of the internet age.
No, probably not. They're also, I assume, going to be calling the statue Snooty McSnootface. I guess that would be my guess. But I went to the change.org. It needs 7,500 signatures. They are just shy of 1,600 to that goal. So if you guys want to support that, we'll put that up on Facebook, and you can maybe go visit a manatee statue.
And then we can bootless Snoot forever.
Yes. So I think it's an excellent idea. The question is, Adam, is it news?
I have to go with yes on this one.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just such a peek into what our world is right now.
Yes.
Where, get rid of Confederate stuff, replace, a statue in the middle of the city, normally reserved for great heroes from history or important people from the city's storied past. Just replace it with a manatee.
Yeah.
That probably most of the people in the city had never heard of until this happened.
Right until the death of the manatee.
Yeah.
Well, aliens
I
in
was
space,
totally
man.
a fan of Snooty.
Yeah, I love Snooty.
The observers who are watching this planet right now, trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing, like, why would they elect him? What are they doing with their leadership? What does that even mean? Well, the manatee's not a step backwards.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Valid. Yeah.
Okay, we're back on track, everyone.
Manatee's a safe bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, we're starting to gauge things a
Here's
little more
the thing.
reasonably.
There's no way anyone gets like offended by that statue, right? Like, there's no way
They
that
tore down General
Vegans.
whoever.
Vegans might get offended.
vegans.
I'm
But it's
assuming because
honoring
because wouldn't
Snooty.
it technically be an animal product?
It's not an animal product. It is a statue of an animal it's revering an animal. That's great. Unless it
They'll
was
still find a way to be offended.
unless above the statue of Snooty the manatee, there was also a statue of a boat. Like
Or
hitting
it's
it with
actually a
propeller.
statue of him stuck in the hatch dying.
Right, then that would not be good.
Oh,
and then
I feel bad
a
for saying
15-pound ball of sausage just lands on it.
I'm going. Where can we get this done? All
Oh
right, so
my.
news, yay!
that. So, a company, let's see, about 50 employees within this company.
Yeah.
So did you say 15 or 50?
50. 50.
Okay.
Employees at this tech company can now get microchip implants that allow them to
Shoot lasers
it's
out
like
of their eyes.
Shoot lasers out of their eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna join that company.
It's like a security code access key card, as well as they can, each one has a personalized account associated with it, so they can use the vending machine with this microchip.
We already have that. It's called a credit card.
Yes, but now it's implanted in your fingertip,
Right.
So you can just touch the thing and
Like a cyborg.
buy something, open a door or whatever. Now, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's not unheard of. We've been microchipping pets forever.
sure.
My question is, first off, if your salary,
Yeah.
right, you're not getting paid per hour, nor are you getting paid for what you get done. You just get paid and hope you don't lose your job. That's how salary works, right?
That's
So
probably
I know,
not how they would state it.
Well, I know lots of people who are on salary
I'm about
Yeah.
to be on salary. So
who here we go, who spend considerable amounts of extra time in the bathroom.
Right.
In fact, I've heard of an app that counts your yearly salary with how much time you just spent in the bathroom, and it'll tell you how much you got paid to poop just now.
Right.
with these microchips, they will now be able to tell where in the building you are.
Oh, it's tracking you as well?
Yes.
Oh,
You have
my
to unlock
God.
doors, and security doors are everywhere in this building, so they
Wow.
can tell how much time you spend pooping.
Wait,
I
if
don't
those-
like it. I don't like it.
If those security doors are already there, you need to have a card to go poop, right? So they already know how long you're pooping.
Shut up, Keith.
I'll tell you why it actually terrifies me. Is not the reason you just stated.
Yeah.
It's because now movie villains have an extra reason to just cut off a finger
Yeah.
when they need my fingerprint for something. Because now they
Identity
have the
theft
fingerprint
right there.
and the little chip to get into things.
That is very,
They already
very
had
true.
one terrifying reason. Now they have two, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
This whole weather report is about making Adam more scared of the
Yeah.
world.
Added bonus, the chip comes with hepatitis.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
It'd be so weird, though. It's like the size of a grain. It's a little bit bigger than a grain of rice. You could feel that inside your hand.
Oh yeah, like have you ever had like a splinter in your finger and that's all you do all day? Is just mess with that thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, or like if you have like a wart on something, or like anytime you have a thing, you're just constantly. It's like when you have a sore in your mouth, you're just like, I'm gonna play with that. You would end up messing with it until you peeled away the skin and it popped out.
Like Marla Singer.
Yeah, exactly.
That cut on the roof of your mouth that would heal if you could stop tonguing it.
Yes, exactly that. Or the movie Aliens.
Blah! Microchip out of your chest!
Yeah,
So it's innovative, it's clever, it's terrifying. Is it new?
it's hepatitis.
I'm going to have to go with yes, because we are now getting one step closer to, sure, it's, you can get this, and then you have to get it. And then next thing you know, we're in Blade Runner.
Right, exactly.
It may take some time. I know that may have been quite a leap for some fans.
You could have
of the
said
show, but-
Gattaca, it would have made a little more sense, but I guess Blade Runner
No,
works
because
too.
Gattaca was genes-based, not technology-based.
But still, it's everybody's registered and judged by, whatever.
I was going more with synthetic, but
Also,
I'm smelling what you're
I like
stepping in.
Uma Thurman. I had a crush.
Can't
Had.
judge.
Anyway, moving on. News, bitches!
So there's no way I'm going to be able to catch up with you, but I'm just going to throw this out here, and we'll see if I at least come close. I particularly like this one. There is an Arizona driver's manual that's come out that has a list of tips for being a safe driver. I will list a few of them for you.
Okay.
Wear a seatbelt.
Obvious,
good.
but a lot of people don't do it.
Yep. Use your turn signals.
I wish more
Nobody
people
does
would
that.
do that.
Nobody does that, Marilyn.
Turn on your headlights before it gets dark. Smart, right?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
before?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've also pulled out of many a gas station and realized too late that my lights were still off. So okay,
Yeah.
good tip.
Don't get shot in the face by a police officer.
What about in the
Now I'm
arm?
gonna have to stop you there.
Don't get pulled over while you're anything but white.
I hope the manual says that. Tell me that you're not just making that up.
Some of the suggestions were things like lowering the windows, especially if they're tinted. At night, turning on any overhead passenger compartment lights. Informing officers if the driver has a weapon or if there's anything in the vehicle.
That does not work.
Yeah.
That one guy got shot. He told the officer that he was armed. The officer asked for his registration. He reached for his license. He reached for his pocket and got shot 5 times in the arm
right.
and
Because
died on the spot.
This is the problem. I don't know if last time you've been to the DMV, but if you renew your driver's license in the last 5 years or so, and you are African American, the shape of your driver's license is a gun. It's really inconvenient, I have to admit. I don't know why they chose that particular shape, but essentially everything a black man owns is in the shape of a gun.
Yeah.
Cell
apparently.
phone, gun. Everything's a gun. And so
So,
Yeah.
but this is a proactive step. Like, what in America can a black person do to not get shot? Well,
Right.
let's start putting it in manuals. Like,
right.
you know,
First step, don't leave your house. Second step, don't
be-
answer the door.
First step is don't be black.
Right. You should go out in white face.
Your life will be easier
Yeah.
if you're pasty. You
So
know?
yeah, so they thought, hey, here are some tips on how not to get shot by police. You would think that there could be one step, which is just obey the law and then don't threaten the life of a police officer.
Not that
No,
simple.
Not that simple. No, you also have to like keep your hands where you can view them and turn lights on and like juggle, because there's no way you could shoot somebody while juggling. And
Well, if you're juggling chainsaws, I suppose that's pretty dangerous too. But if I'd be amazed, I'd be like, fuck yeah, keep doing that.
yeah, go ahead. You can go. So we obviously know that shooting unarmed black men in the United States, not news. How about a pamphlet on how not to become one of them?
I have to say yes for the same reason Snooty statue, because again, it's a great peek into our world today.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be, but it's an excellent just little peek at, oh yeah, this is the world that we're living in right now.
I think I don't even know how we solve it particularly well. Like we need to have some type of thing where it's just insane. There's such a gap there that I don't know how to solve it, because
this is the whole unarmed black people getting shot for no reason in this country. That's not necessarily a new thing. It's just something that is being shown more and more.
Sure, we're more aware of it because we have access to more data and more news and things like that.
I think it was Chris Rock. He said nobody cared if rappers got shot. Like if you want to get away with a murder, you shoot a guy and put a demo tape in their pocket.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, and the other part of it is that if you hear the other side, essentially, police are scared for their lives. I mean, they're not, most of these cases.
They're just as nervous when they walk up to the window.
Yeah, it's not that they're going like, I hate black people, I'm going to shoot a bunch of them today. No, they go, I genuinely am scared. So how do you solve that?
Maybe a manual for the police.
It does seem like they could
on
use
how
one.
to not shoot black people.
Right. Don't aim. That would be my first. Just shoot wildly about. You'll be they're awfully accurate, it seems like.
Oh, hold on. We're getting the signal from Engineer Adam that we need to move on.
Right.
Sorry, old habits die hard.
I know. Who won, Engineer Adam?
I believe Victor won
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, he did. Bye.
So I think you owe me $5 this time.
I don't know, you dick. No, I'm kidding. I will pay you next week. So back to Engineer Adam, and obviously you are an engineer. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into audio engineering? Tell us a little bit about that.
So actually, originally I was going to be a mechanical engineer.
I remember those days.
Mm-hmm. And you remember back in high school when I started working at my dad's place and became
building satellites or whatever.
Yeah, it started out as follow these guys around to, hey, you're actually pretty handy with some machines. Build us some satellites.
That's a huge leap. Is that how it usually goes? Because
I'm not sure, but I was able to use the mill without killing myself.
I don't
barely
trust satellites if that's how it goes. It's like, hey, who's this guy?
Well, apparently they're falling out of the sky. He made one out of sausage for crying out loud.
I know there's at least one up there with quite literally my signature on the side of it orbiting right now. And, and there's another one that I helped out with. I didn't, again, I wasn't doing any design work. I wasn't doing it. I was just, here's some schematics. Make this part for us.
I just imagine
that for the second one as well.
I just imagine that it is just careening through space, colliding with everything around it like a drunk man through the Mall of America.
Somehow screaming.
Yeah.
So wait. So you signed it for shits and giggles, right? You weren't supposed to sign it. You just put your name on it to have your name in space.
I'm going to go with yes because that's funnier. but no, so then I went off to school to do that. And very quickly learned that there's a difference between building things and learning to be an engineer.
Okay, so you can make things, but you don't
didn't
know
want
why.
a college degree.
Yeah.
You wanted a new Lego set.
Pretty much, exactly, yeah. And plus, I did not get along very well with the individual in charge of that particular group. I won't say anymore.
Fair enough.
But so I wanted to change majors because I was miserable, looking for something to do, and they said, hey, we just started a music tech program because I was talking to one of the guys at marching band. He's like, maybe you can try that. And I remembered back when Victor and I used to play in a little garage band back in high school.
Technically a basement band.
And I was kind of the engineer for that because I did the best job of pretending I knew what all the little buttons and knobs on that board did.
You got to learn the board. We just push buttons.
And so I entered that and haven't looked back.
Well, fair enough. How did so this was in college that this happened?
Which part? The changing.
Yeah, when you made the switch.
Yeah, it was like halfway through my sophomore years when I made that switch.
Because I know that you did your sound engineering up at Peabody, where you're going to be working, right?
Well, the undergrad was actually at Elon University,
Elon,
North
okay.
Carolina, and then
That
I did my
makes more
grad school at Peabody, where I'm now going to be working.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I didn't know Peabody made satellites. You had me on that one.
I remember how miserable you were your freshman year. Like everybody's having a good time because it's college, and then there's Adam. It's 2 a.m. He's still reading that stupid book because he's trying to do like 5 years worth of credits for a 4-year degree. And it's like, I don't think this is your thing, man.
The only fun part about freshman year engineering was we got to build underwater unmanned vehicles as like the big project at the end.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And that was a lot of fun.
Those are called
But
fish.
you got to build things.
Yeah.
No,
But again,
fish are
I
mostly
got to
dead.
build it where, that's
No,
what I like doing.
they just
Here's
float.
a problem, solve it.
They're underwater unmanned vehicles. There are no men involved, and they're underwater vehicles. It's a porpoise.
But then
That's what it is.
But then that kind of just still dovetails into what I do now, where it's still, here's a problem, solve it in some creative way. So
If
I
you
think
had
that's what I
some
actually
money,
like.
you totally could have won that project with a well-trained dolphin.
Exactly. There you go. You need to be really specific about the requirements. Well, what did you make it out of? Dolphin meat. Right.
Probably some tuna in there somewhere. I don't know.
What's your project called? Snooty. So
Project Snooty Engage.
that's a huge jump though, from like working with like, metal grinders and CNC machines, and then being like, I'm gonna make you sound good.
Yeah. Because I've always been a music guy. I've always loved music and everything. I love playing music. I love watching music, and I maybe like watching performances. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. But I'm just not. I just couldn't see myself living off of playing music.
That's true.
So I
Speaking
picked
of
the next
which,
best thing.
you are playing music.
Yes,
right now.
eagle-eared listeners may remember me from the Second Guard episode.
Yes.
That is my folk metal band.
Exactly. So if you go back to that episode, I don't know what number that was, but
A couple months ago,
yeah,
But based in Baltimore, so you'll be nice and close to the band now.
and
which
you
is convenient.
yeah, you guys have a couple of shows coming up. I have Saturday, August 5th at Sparta Inn in Sparrows Point,
Mhm.
and Monday, August 7th. Oh no, sorry.
19th, I think.
Yeah, sorry. The 5th at Sparta Inn, and then August 19th at Auto Bar for the Maryland Folk Metal Festival,
Mm-hmm.
which I never realized there were enough people to put a festival together of folk metal.
We didn't think so necessarily either.
Yeah,
It's just a bunch of band moms.
this is the third year of this event, and the first year it was literally because Pagan Fest got canceled for the U.S. tour,
Right.
And so it happened while we were all at band practice, and we were like, you know what, fuck it, let's make our own Pagan festival.
Nice.
So we contacted a bunch of bands we knew, and it was all local groups that first year, but it went off spectacularly well. And then so we did it again last year and got some really big bands in and huge turnout. And so third year running.
That's really cool. I mean, it just seems so specific. It's like the Mid-Atlantic Association for Table Whittlers or something like very like
Underwater basket weaving.
Well, yeah, you just think like there's only like 3 of those, right? And
Well, thankfully, metal is just the absolute worst with subgenres. So
true.
there's actually a much wider breadth of things to pull from than you think.
there's arguably more genres of metal than there are other genres of music.
I would agree with that statement.
Because
Yeah.
basically all you do is take other genres of music and then add them to the word metal.
Or any qualifier whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's
Face metal.
jerk metal.
Metal is like fruit.
Clown
There's a
metal.
lot of varieties. Some people like this. Some people won't like that. But nobody actually wants the cores.
And it goes bad quickly.
Oh man.
All right. Well, cool. Well, we'll come back to this in just a little bit. In the meantime, we'll take you on the grand journey of this particular piece of music that you found for us. For
It's
this
still
week
so
in-
delightful.
I know. For this week in history.
Dun, dun, dun.
Are you
I
telling
really-
them about this
I
week in
really-
history?
I really like this jingle. Shut
No,
up.
okay.
You laugh at me every week when you see me dancing in the engineer's chair while at this place.
Yeah.
You're dancing right now. Your chair's just too squeaky for you to do it as much as you normally
Yep.
do.
All right.
So, in 1861, the Congress passes the Crittenden-Johnson Resolution, which officially declares that at the start of the Civil War, the reason we were fighting the South is to get them to rejoin the Union.
Sure.
Completely debunking the fact that, or the opinion that everybody thinks the Civil War was about slavery. The Civil War was not about slavery until the final year that it was fought, when Abraham Lincoln went, "Fuck, we're out of people. The slaves are declared free," and everybody was like, "Yeah!" And they all ran with rifles. That's how it happened, right?
It's,
Close
something
enough for government work. Yeah,
Yes.
Probably so.
I assume.
Well, it's not to be confused with the earlier plan, the Crittenden Compromise,
Oh.
which proposed protecting slavery as an enticement to keep Southern states from seceding. Obviously, that fucking failed.
We can all agree that that was probably best, that we not have that continue.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
2020 hindsight and all.
And the
Like,
whole 3/5 compromise, and then the Missouri line, and all that nonsense.
yeah, we're getting closer.
The Dickinson line, whatever they call it.
Now the pamphlet of how not to get shot by a police officer.
Right. It's progress. It's progress.
It's taking a while to get there, but it is progress.
Don't you wave at me. This next one's important, all right? So, on July 25th, the day we're recording on, since we release a week later, in 1898, Puerto Rico was invaded by the United States.
Sorry.
Fuck off. Actually, you laugh, but it was a welcome relief, because both Cuba and Puerto Rico had tried to rebel against Spain, and both rebellions spectacularly failed. Puerto Rico still has, but if had a functioning fort just outside of their capital.
Okay.
That absolutely nothing, no type of ship from that age could get past.
Wow.
They sank everything.
Everything.
Nothing ever got past it. So the United States sailed around the island. They were like, it's only 35 miles.
Go to the other side.
They went to the other side, and they landed in my mom and dad's hometown.
Okay.
Mom has told me stories of her grandmother like, oh, yes, I remember when the Americans landed, they were giving us money that we didn't know what to do with it. It wasn't real money. They were giving them American money. Like
Sounds like a
walking
typical American thing. Oh, there's a problem. Throw money at it.
No, even more typically American. They walked in and went, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. We got this, people.
They marched up through the mountains in the island and took the capital by land, which remarkably no one had thought of to do before.
That is really sad to for them to be like, wait, they're coming from over there.
No, the cannons don't turn that far.
We did not think this through very well.
So it was a pretty easy victory, and only a total of 7 deaths in that entire conflict.
That's the greatest war ever.
Yeah. Well,
It was
that battle, the battle for the island.
Oh, okay. So it was like bang, bang, bang. Ow! Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's dangerous. We give up. This is very, very bloody right here in this puddle.
That guy died of the flu, but we're going to add him in.
Holy shit. We just cleaned this.
But that's my Puerto Rico story. Yay.
All right. Very cool. I didn't know any of that history at all. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
sharing that. I'm sure everything there was very, very clean that we found out last week. Great news. Oh, you remember. Who here, quick show of hands, has heard of Estelle Getty? Estelle Getty? Estelle Getty, that's right. Thank you. We're on the radio and you raised your hands like idiots.
Technically, we followed instructions.
You did. She is an American Emmy-winning actress. She was on the TV show Golden Girls from 1985 to 1992 as Sophia, and also Empty Nest from 1993 to 1995. So she was born in 1923 in This Week in History.
Man,
So
very pleasant.
yeah.
Golden
Estelle
Girls.
Getty.
So she got to hang out with Betty White.
Yes, she did.
Oh, fuck yeah, I love Betty White.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I would hit that so hard.
Yeah,
That's inappropriate to say. I apologize.
She was there when Betty White was born. No, I don't know. I have no idea when Betty White, I just think existed for all time. And then
Betty White forever.
yeah, I heard the thing said that the best thing sits. What was it? That Betty White was the best thing before sliced bread. because she actually was
She's
born
older than sliced bread,
Yeah,
right?
That came afterward. So, how about you?
In 1945, Truman. There we go. Truman drops hint to Stalin about a terrible new weapon. So at this point,
It was a Stelgetty.
they released Betty White upon the world. They had, I think they had declared victory in Europe at that point,
Yeah.
or they were close to it, and they were trying to convince the Soviet Union to commit troops to the Pacific,
Right.
to defeat Japan.
Of course.
And on this date,
Yeah.
in 1945, Truman turned to Stalin and went, "No, it's cool. We got this." He was not impressed. Like, yes, you're going to need Russian help. We all know. We all know you're going to need all of our people.
Right.
We'll just throw bodies at it. This is what we do.
Yes.
And,
Sure.
and then Truman was the one who decided to drop the atomic bomb
Right.
on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then the Russians were like, okay, not bad, America.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So
Pretty good.
basically, it was like the most historical hold my beer moment in history.
It was the one time where America went, we got this, and we meant it.
Right.
It wasn't, we got this, and actually we'll pull out of the Korean War. Actually, we'll pull out of the Vietnamese conflict.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't mean Desert Storm.
That's
Actually, War on Terror is vaguer than we thought it was. Actually, okay, I'm done.
yes. We're very good at being like, is that close enough? All right, so we go to 1976. This might be my favorite of all time. Now,
Drum roll.
remember, Victor didn't tell you how this works, but you're going to determine what the most historically important thing is that has happened that we tell you about. I think this may be a front runner. Shun Fujimoto wins an Olympic gold medal as a member of the Japanese gymnastics team.
How is that different from any other gymnastics
I
team?
know. He scored a 9.5 on the side horse. I guess it's like the pommel horse kind of look. And a 9.7 on the rings. This was shortly after he broke his leg during the floor exercise routine.
What?
And kept going. That's right. What the fuck have you done recently?
Wait, okay. I know my sister did gymnastics for a long time, so
Yeah.
those meets are very long. He
Yes.
had to break his leg.
He broke his leg during the floor
Did he
exercise.
go get it bandaged, or was it just flapping around, broken boned?
I assume it was poking out and bleeding everywhere.
Spurt,
Yeah.
spurt.
I don't have the exact details, but that's how I see it.
You have to, for both of those events, you have to dismount and land on both feet
Right.
together without jumping.
They actually had to make a splint for his leg out of two of the Finnish gymnasts. Yeah. They're smaller
Have you
and they
seen-
wrap.
What?
they're-
Have you seen Finnish women? They are
they're-
tall.
I know. Well, that's good, but they're thin, so you can really get them the whole length of the leg.
Those bones would be way too long for that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that guy, that might be the badassest guy ever because you're doing a pommel horse and rings on a broken leg. Not to mention, you finished your floor exercise well enough to actually get a gold medal.
And your language naturally just sounds really angry.
Right. Exactly. Think about the people that got the silver medal. Right. Because they had to go up on the podium and be like, we lost to that guy and he had a broken leg. Like, that's the biggest, like, fuck you ever. Like, I could beat you with one arm tied behind my back. I beat you with this leg broken, bleeding, with two Finnish gymnasts wrapped around it.
I like that it took two old gymnasts to make the split.
Yeah, one on each
Some
side.
unicorn blood.
Yeah, to
and a little
stabilize
dragon
it.
tears.
Right, duct tape. And so, all right, we fast forward to 1984. You guys probably haven't heard of James Fix, but this is one of the greatest stories, I think, in history. He had a book called The Complete Book of Running in 1977. He launched a nationwide running craze. He would go on like talk shows, late night talk shows, and talk about how important it was to run and the health benefits of it. He started running and quit smoking at the age of 35 when he weighed in at 214 pounds and smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. 10 years later, with his book, when his book, The Complete Book of Running, was published, he was 60 pounds lighter. The book sold over 1 million copies. And then At age, was it at age 52 while jogging, he died of a heart attack.
The way you present things, I always feel so bad because and then he died, and then I crack up.
Now, in his defense, they think that he may have suffered from a congenital heart defect because his father died of heart attack.
Genital heart defect?
No, not a genital,
Is there
a
a heart in
congenital.
your genitals?
Yes, it's a little lower down.
Is that what they mean when your loins are throbbing?
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
You have to squeeze it to keep it going. It's easier to massage when it's outside the chest. So, his father also died of a heart attack at age 43. So there might have been something congenital there, congenital there. But the irony is
I
fantastic.
find that story funny and ironic.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, 1992, another one of my favorites. Tires recalled for blasphemy.
What?
Yep. Japanese tire manufacturer Yokohama Rubber Corporation makes the recall after it was discovered that their computer-designed tread resembled the Islamic word for Allah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
The squigglies that the
Are
computer.
you fucking kidding me?
No, that it was made for tread, and the computer designed it to be super sticky and be able to stick to the road, but the line that was the tread happened to look a lot like the word for Allah in Arabic.
So
Are you sure
basically
this
what you're
wasn't
saying.
2002? Because around that time, it seems fitting. Because anytime you try to start any conversation about Islam, it became kind of a sticky situation.
Yeah,
I
well,
hate-
I see what you're doing.
I'm going to hit you with something real
I mean, we
fast.
know that they're not particularly fond of the word Allah. Like if you make cartoons about it, they shoot you. And so,
And if you buy them ice cream, they shoot you. Wait, no, they're buying you ice cream.
they buy you ice cream.
Right.
In pillow fights. That was a few weeks ago. for
How
people to
good
catch
was that tread, though? I mean, God himself.
Yeah, right. Oh, Allah, this has good traction.
Sweet, fancy. Muhammad?
Yeah. So they recalled those. Probably smart. 2005.
Well, they know that they wouldn't be car bombing people when those tires are on them.
That's true.
Unless that car was the bomb.
No. James Doohan or Dohan.
Doing.
I'm not sure how you say it. You might know him as a Canadian actor. He starred in the TV show Star Trek as Chief Engineer Scotty. Remember Scotty?
Very beloved character.
So unfortunately, he passed away in 2005, this week in history. Interesting thing, as part of the Royal Canadian Artillery during World War II, during the D-Day invasion, he shot 2 snipers. Yay!
Oh, damn.
Yeah. He, however, was also hit by 6 rounds of friendly fire by a Canadian sentry. So
Wait, they shot it.
they said sorry.
But they apologized.
Yeah, they were
They're
like,
Canadian.
"Oh, but we didn't mean to." A round to his chest was stopped by a cigarette case he was carrying, so cigarettes can be good for your health. And another round caused him to have his right middle finger amputated. Who knew that Scotty just had 9 fingers?
I'm going to have to rewatch all of those
Yeah.
movies and pay real close attention.
I know, right?
Unless they photoshopped it out.
If that wasn't enough, he also helped create the Klingon and Vulcan languages for the show.
Oh, that's way more important than being a war hero.
Yes. Last but not least, who here in studio has heard of Estelle Getty?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, Estelle Getty, who's an American Emmy-winning actress in The Golden Girls, died this week in history. Yeah. It's very
In
unfortunate.
2008.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. So she was born and died on this week.
Adam, what was the most important thing this week?
Ooh, geez.
We've taken a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Look at us.
We've covered a lot of ground in this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, though, that I think this week, the most historically important thing in the future will be the 15 pounds of sausage that fell out of the sky.
Fair enough. So we're going to be making history this week.
2017, 15 mystery pounds of sauce.
Well, I'm very excited. We tried this last week, but we didn't have our sound effects, and now we do.
We had them in post.
We had them in post. But this is our new segment taking over the 5 senses, and it is called Near and Far. And here's our new sound effect.
Near. Now go far again. Far. See? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You understand?
There you go. You understand?
He sounds winded.
So all we're going to ask you is 2 stories, one that happened close to home and one that happened while out adventuring in your sound duties. So let's... Which would you like to start with, Adam?
He said duty.
I guess we'll do like Grover said. We'll go near and then far.
Excellent. So what has happened near to home with your engineering?
Well, not necessarily engineering, but you said we also talked about the band
Engine
at one
farm.
point, which I met through engineering. We can tell that story another time.
Okay. Let's do it.
But our first ever show was actually local to here, oddly enough, despite the band being from Baltimore, at Empire, formerly Jack's.
Yeah.
Now Afghan restaurant / ballroom or something.
Yeah, now a place where you hide bodies.
And we ended up
Live ones, dead ones, doesn't matter.
we ended up
front for drugs.
opening for a pretty big tour for our genre.
Yeah.
We ended up being the opening band for I think it was Blackguard,
Nope.
Metzatoll, and Fintroll.
Nobody's ever heard of
You
any of those.
two have not, but the metalheads will probably be impressed that was our first ever show.
That
was
is-
at Empire opening for those bands.
Empire was a pretty solid gig, especially if that's the first time you're on stage all together. Like,
That was my first real show because like I'd played concerts like in college or like school talent show.
Oh my God, you're Toki Wartooth. Your
Exactly.
first band, it was a huge hit.
Exactly. And so this was my first time ever like on stage for real, I guess.
Right.
And I got to do that, which was awesome.
That is pretty cool. Was it a huge crowd? Like,
Huge crowd.
because that's a pretty big metal club in the area. Like,
Well, it
at
was.
the time at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no joke. For other genres, it wasn't as well known, but for metal, it was pretty up there. Like, that was the place to play.
It was pretty much the only place around here in Northern Virginia that I know of, anyways. During that time,
You had some stuff in Baltimore that was pretty well known, but
tons
not
of
down
stuff in
here.
Baltimore, Northern Virginia,
Yeah.
nothing. And now that it's gone, there's pretty much nothing.
Very cool.
So.
Look at that. So your claim to fame. If any of you listening have heard of those bands before, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour.com and let us know why. How about Far?
So far, this one will be about engineering.
So far. I see.
When I was in grad school, I ended up working for a company called Polk Audio.
Okay.
They were doing
I've heard of them. They do like car audio and stuff.
and
as well.
headphones and
Yeah.
speakers and whatnot.
Mhm.
And they had a gig where they were taking this booth out to the Consumer Electronics Show, Macworld, and South by Southwest. And they built a soundproof room into the booth.
What?
And we would bring bands in. They would play a concert from inside the soundproof booth. So when you're walking by, you can't hear them.
And no one could hear them.
But everyone's mic'd up where I'm mixing them live,
Oh, okay.
going out to all of the brand new headphones that they were showing off and trying to get people to buy. So you would sit down on these benches, put on these headphones,
and hear
and
a live
hear a
concert.
live show that I was mixing. and I got to do that for CES, Macworld, and South by Southwest.
That's really
That's
cool.
badass.
A lot of fun. But then one
Who
of the
played from the inside of the booth?
So any Baltimore locals might know of June Star. It's like a Appalachian folk
Oh,
kind
okay.
of group.
Okay.
Ellen Cherry, who's like a
So it's not metal. They put on the headphones and immediately take them off, throw them on
no,
the
Second
ground.
Guard wasn't invited. Ellen Cherry was another big artist, and Bosley, who's like a modern big band jazz. I think is the best way to do it. It's kind of a funky group. We're the big three that we had. But the one memory from all that really sticks out to me was at Macworld in San Francisco.
Yeah.
We get done with the show one night. We're all eating dinner, and one of the guys from Polka sitting next to me just looks at his phone and goes, "Oh, Kyle Gass is playing next to our hotel
What?
tonight." We're like,
The Rage Cage?
"Yeah." So like, you know we're going, right? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
For
we're
those,
going.
For those who don't know who Kyle Gass is, who can you explain that?
He is not Jack Black in Tenacious D.
Right, the other guy from Tenacious D.
He is nasty man.
And so we ended up at this club in the middle of San Francisco. It was the most rundown piece of shit venue I have ever been in. Tickets were $5, and it was Kyle. It was the Kyle
Wow.
Gass Experience, I think it was, where it was him and like 5 other guys just doing a rock show,
Yeah,
and it was phenomenal.
I mean, he's super talented.
He is super talented, and the rest of his band were really good too. It was
You know what
That's
makes me
amazing.
mad? If Jack Black was there, that'd have been $60 tickets.
yeah, and I would have paid it because
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Not see the Rage Cage and
Yeah, so
Jables?
we will not have you any longer, but if somebody does want to get in touch with you to do a podcast, how do they reach you?
just you can find me here through the podcast.
Okay.
Just go to email contact at Another Wasted Hour.
And we'll pass
And-
it along.
Yeah, exactly.
It has been awesome, Adam. Thank you so much for all your help over the last 6 months, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. This week coming up, Saturday, August 5th, Second Guard at Sparta Inn in Sparrows Point, Maryland. Also, August 19th, they're at the Auto Bar in Baltimore for the Maryland Folk Festival. Monday, August 7th, Vim and Vigor at Jam and Java in Vienna, Virginia. Please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Thanks to Kevin Evinger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Figmental Records, Alchemical Records, and as always, Engineer Adam for all of your contributions. Thank you to Victor, and most of all, the 6 months that you've given us of your life, Adam, for wasting a perfectly good 6 months with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.